folks, here I am. It's been a while since I've fished and filmed and just been on the river. End of October, lost my job with Boondocks and had about 3 months of unemployment. I don't recommend it. It was kind of miserable, but I did do a couple contract jobs, which were fun. One with Georgia Rivers Network down in Georgia, a advocacy group that is working to preserve our freedom to float on rivers in Georgia. Real important stuff. So if you haven't, follow them on all the social media. It's actually, I think on most social media platforms, it's Georgia Rivers, formerly known as Georgia Rivers Network. The other was Catch. Got out there with Jake, hit the road, did some dealer visits, kind of taught him what I know about that sales manager job in the paddle sports community and the kayak fishing community. So it's 5:37 a.m. It's 29 degrees. It's not gonna be a real nice day. And I think they have a forecast for blizzard later in the week. The only blizzards I like are the ones that come from Dairy Queen, and maybe not even this time of year. But I do like the thump of the brown fish. So we're gonna go find some of that today on the Juniata River. Well, it's already an adventure. I'm bleeding. Got to a spot that I had looked at on Google Maps to think, yeah, I think I can put in there, but I slipped and fell down a good bit. Kind of scratched myself up. This hand took most of the brunt. It's just icy, and I don't know. I can do it. I can drop down in there. I don't know. I'm close to where I've caught some fish in the winter. Well, really early spring, late winter. Do I want to do it? It's steep. It's really getting back up at the end of the day is going to be a tough one. I don't know. I may drive around a little bit more, look at Google Maps some more, find my first aid kit. Ouch. All right, that looks a little bit better. Let's try that. So we've had snow, and then it rained on top of the snow. Just made a sheet of ice, which I'm still slipping on, just standing here. Tricky. And then I think it's gonna snow while I'm out, and then rain on top of it. And it's February in Pennsylvania. But we got open water. So, you know, that's a green light to me. Okay, here we go. Feels good. Feels good to be on a river. I had been on a river a few times since the end of October. I was on the Chastity. Caught a nice shoal bass there. And let's get that river down. Another river in Georgia that was just a whitewater run. It was fun though. I got the another inflatable prototype out on the water, tried it out. It's called the Kestrel, Kestrel. This is Jake Harshman continually dinging me because he can't see that 3 text from Jake. He can't be on the water today. He is gonna take me in his jet soon. But I'm actually sharing a location with him because I'm out here solo, and you know, it's good to, if you're out here in February. Oh, it's an interesting looking eddy behind this island. I'm gonna keep moving down though. Yeah, you need to let people know where you're at, because if you have a problem, last known location is pretty critical for them to help you out. But hey, that kind of looks like a launch there. Huh. Anyhow, I'm glad to be out here. I'll be even happier to catch a smallmouth for the first time in several months. I will tell you that losing your job is a humbling experience, and it for sure makes you grateful when you do have employment. I have employment now with Snake River Manufacturing. So for now, they make kayak trailers, but it's gonna get bigger. It's gonna grow. We're gonna do a lot of cool problem solving for kayak anglers. I'll leave it at that. I'm excited. Steve Carroll is the owner, founder, president, engineer, and he is brilliant. He is a smart dude who has manufacturing expertise in much larger things than anything we would need kayak fishing wise. So when he builds something, he builds it to last, and you know, that's a good thing that he's got his sights set on some kayak fishing solutions, which he has been producing. Snake River Lockers trailer. He's been making those for a couple years, but we're gonna grow that considerably together. So I mentioned Jake earlier. If you're a regular watching the channel, you'll know that had some good trips with Jake earlier last year, and one of the things that I did while I was there, because I knew, hey, we're coming out of winter, is I marked some waypoints on my Google Maps. I've taken to, like, for years I'd done waypoints on depth finders, but like depth finders change. But this Google account, which is the YouTube channel and everything else, doesn't change. And to have a set of pin drops on a Google map that is, well, I will just tell you, it was significant for where I'm going today, because I said, hey, I think they winter here. They're still here in very early spring, late winter. This is a winter spot. So now it's February, some 11 months later, and here I am. I don't think they could be here, anywhere in here. So, did myself a favor last March. Take a look. Yeah, I'm pulling up on this first eddy. There is a big sheet of ice there. That's sort of indicative of there not being much current at all. So I'm just putting a little bit of liquid mayhem here on this. That's a baby goat, black with a blue flake. Yeah, it's a good looking eddy. This is where one of the waypoints was. I think I have 3 to sort of investigate here today. And we're gonna start here, probably. I'm gonna look at it for a while. That's one of the keys though. Get stopped. Just look. I'm not stopped yet, but I will be here in a moment. Just looking and watching foam, seeing how much it moves, if it moves at all. Hopefully I find something that's not moving. Yeah. Ooh, I like that. Alright. So I'm drifting. And I'm not casting until I'm fully stopped. But yeah, I see still water right there. What I may do is double anchor. Yeah, that's super still right there. Get my front anchor going down. Slowly, I'm letting it down super slowly. That gives me an idea of the depth too. Taking this magnet off so I don't upset anything. Let that rear anchor down. Give it a little bit of extra so it grabs somewhere. Again, I'm out of the current and stopped. Gonna let it settle. And gonna watch the nature here for a bit before I cast. There's something to be said about just settling in to a spot. You'd think I'd be in a rush because I haven't fished in a while, but if you rush it winter fishing, you're missing things. And I'm looking for maybe a hatch. I don't see much of a hatch. I'm looking for any bird activity, and I'm not seeing that. But I'm also letting the kayak just come to a settling stop, which is important. It's a new rod. Beautiful new Rain Shadow. Keller made this one. The Eternity RX10, 7'2", medium fast. I can feel everything out there. And I'm just scratching the bottom. For sure I'm hoping for that thump. But more than anything, I'm scratching it to see, hey, is that a hard bottom or am I on muck? I do not want to be on muck. And it does feel a little bit soft. It's not what I want. Sometimes that's what you get, is you get a soft bottom and muck, and you get loose limbs that load up and it's weight, and you think, oh, well, a lot of times the smallmouth feel the same. Alright, that ain't it. We're gonna move. I know it seems crazy, it was one cast. Yeah, we'll go find him. And I think when you find them, it's still water. Still water. Hard bottom. And usually depth. Not always depth. It's not a mandatory sort of thing. And I'm not telling you there weren't fish there, but it wasn't especially deep. I mean, I think there's probably some fish in here, but what I really want is a concentration of a whole bunch of them. Because when you have that, I mean, I've watched them. I've actually looked down on them in winter and said, yep, there are 6 smallmouth right there. And sat next to them and just just watched them and said, oh, I lost them. Have they moved away? And then one of them will kind of, the caudal fin or the tail will kind of do something. And they're not doing anything. But at some point during the day, maybe they wake up a little bit and move around and look at stuff and decide, I'm going to eat now. And when you have a whole bunch of them, your chances are that, chances are better that you're going to find one or two that are willing to eat. All right, this is the second waypoint that I've checked out, and nothing so far. That has a good hard bottom, but I want to show you something. I'll pull this other camera off, and we're going to look at the speed of the current. It seems like I'm in a big still eddy, but once you double anchor, you'll see there is a pretty significant current swirling around. All right, we got this sort of point that comes out, and I actually fished up there. I had two nice long casts that were each like 10 minutes or more. It's pretty still there. But if you look here, I'm going to try to get some of the background of that bank in view so you can kind of see how much the current is actually moving through here. Look at these little sticks or little bubbles, or whatever you can train your eye on, and there's quite a bit of left to right movement. There, you can see that bubble moving across right there, or that stick, or whatever it is. But this is the sort of thing that you train your eye on and say, all right, big swirly moving upstream along this bank. I know that I put the jig right here, and you can see this little thing here. Mind you, I am stopped. I'm double anchored. I'm sitting right on top of where that little twig is not moving at all. So there's some still water here. It gets to the top, and before it reaches all the way up to that point, it kind of diffuses out into some significant depth here. So, somewhere here, there, maybe even up at the top, they'll pull up real shallow at the top of this, but none of that is transpired as of yet, so I'm going to move down to the next one. But just keep trying, keep trying different spots, and we'll go down to the third waypoint that I've marked next. I'm at the next spot. I got ice forming here. I will say that winter fishing is at least one part meditative in nature. I don't know if I intended that pun or not. You do meditate on nature. Like, I am looking, there's a woodpecker up here. He's sitting still, but he was just duk 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 duk, doing the same thing I am, looking for something. I see you. You start poking again. I can see his head going up and down. He was hitting that wood a second ago. Maybe he's just checking me out. Anyhow, I'm ready. Like, I'm still focused on this, even though I'm watching that. And, one of them whacks it. Even if one of them just starts, like, moving away with it, I'll know it. It's easy, though, for right now, because there's no wind. There's not a crazy amount of current. like this isn't a really challenging day of winter fishing in that regard. It is just very cold, so probably won't be a lot of activity, but I still feel confident I'm gonna catch some fish today. All right, I got one here. It had been sitting still for a little bit. All right, I'm gonna let you breathe. A nice big fish, nice singular thump. Yes. Oh, it felt good. I'm gonna take a look at this fish here in a bit. It's a chunker. It's a chunker. And look, it's the jig's already out. Yeah. Oh, that feels good. So just meditate. Just chill out, be out here, enjoy it, and that thump will eventually come. And this one's, what are you? Get your mouth closed. He's about 18 and a quarter. Look at you. You are beautiful and cold. Thank you. Yep. First smallmouth of 2025. It's a good one. All right, I'm gonna let him go further downstream in that pool because I think if this big one was there, there's some other ones. Yay! It was in the same spot for, I don't know, more than a few minutes. More than a few minutes. But it's important to move them out. That one hit the baby goat in black with blue flake. Okay, here's my first smallmouth 2025. Nice 18 and a quarter incher. See you, guy. Run. There you go. Took him a minute to realize he was back in the water. Got this one on the Z-Man. That's the baby goat. And poured a little jig head myself with the Do It mold. And just let it sit and sit and sit and sit and sit and sit and listen to woodpeckers and watch the stonefly hatch and let it sit some more and eventually, boop. All right, first one. Feels good. All right, I've drifted a good bit down. I always wonder how long they look at it. I mean, I think there is some case to be made for moving it around some, but I think it's, for me, mostly, the moving it around does two things. I'm scratching the bottom to see, hey, am I on a hard bottom? And I think there's something of this head ticking on rocks. I don't think it needs a lot. I think it just needs to announce its presence and then sit there and wait for them to say, I know you're over here. I know there was some stuff happening. I'm gonna come over here and check it out. And that for sure took that one minutes. Snagged on something. Just a little bit. So yeah, let's see if he has friends. But yes, it feels good overall to know that, you know, what we got a glimpse of 11 months ago, a little more than 11 months ago, was it? No, it was about 11 months ago. With Jake, in knowing that, hey, I marked some waypoints, I think it's a winter hole. It is. And, you know, I think we speak of winter holes in terms of like, oh, this is it. This is the only place they are. It's not true. They're spread out, but what you want to find are concentrations of fish to just increase your odds of catching them. They're spread out, especially here in the Juniata. They're spread out quite a bit, and but this is a good winter hole, and I'm glad that first 18 and a quarter proved it out. We'll see if we can catch some more. So I'm back on this spot. I put the anchor down. I kind of drifted into place and just stopped, and I didn't even need the anchor. Like it's one big, still, deep spot, and I'm kind of triangulating and looking at that root ball and this down tree over here. I actually fished, I'm rotating a little bit, I only have the one anchor down. I kind of fished up at the top and didn't get anything, but I moved to the dead center, and that was where he hit. So I think I just saw a flurry. So I've fished it, I've come back to the same spot and fished it for half an hour, nothing. And I know there's fish here, more than that one. I think what happens, I think a really common pitfall to winter fishing, you catch one, you do something to catch one, right? And usually, like I've mentioned, it's letting it sit in one spot a long time, in the right spot. And I've found the right spot. But then you catch one and then you're amped up and you're like, yes. You want it to be like spring, where you move it 3 inches every 10 seconds and that works. It can work in winter. I don't think it's going to work today. And I think you get excited. You get your blood flowing. But it translates to doing too much with this. You gotta come back, do what you just did to catch the one you just caught. And I don't know that I did that. Lots of trains. I think with the snow I'll keep my knit cap on, but this rain hat is keep me from getting too soaked. Eating is a really important part of staying warm. I overlooked it for a long time. You don't necessarily feel hungry, but you totally need the calories. I don't know what that was. That felt weird. And hook sets are free, right? Especially in the winter. So another thing that helps bring back your warmth, besides catching fish, to bring this thermos full of hot water. And much of the time I just hold it in my hands for a little bit, stop fishing, and just a sip on it and warm your hands. I'm just pumping my ankles. My toes are cold. Just kind of rotating them around is something that gets the blood flow. I will need to sort of monitor how I'm feeling in terms of, am I too cold? Am I, at risk of hypothermia? I mean, anytime you're out here in winter, you are, but I'm shivering a little bit. I do have the, the heated jacket in the heated socks, although I think the batteries are done on the heated socks. There's like a branch or something in there I keep dragging over. But yeah, you definitely want to self-assess for hypothermia. So I got faith in this pool. I mean, obviously from catching the one, but like in March last year, we caught so many right at the head and a bunch at the tail. And that's when they come out of winter, they go to the heads and tails of where they've wintered. And when you winter fish and you're like, yeah, this pool or this, really from that current picks up there to I can see where it ends, and there's a lot of depth and in still water. At that point, it is winter, not early spring. You really got to pick it apart and find the spots within the spot. You know, this is the spot, but there are certain casts in certain directions at certain river levels, and for sure it gets easier when the river comes up. They're all be up behind that big sycamore tree down there, that big root ball, because they can't be out here, but it's a little bit lower, so they're spreading out. And I got up on the bank and I'm actually casting out, and I can kind of count, you know, how long it takes the jig to get to the bottom. And it's got some good depth, but you know, I got one spot down there I know there's some fish, and you know, I caught the one. I felt one other rub up against the line. I don't think it was in the fish's mouth. Sometimes that's what you feel. You know, there's a bunch of fish in one area and they're not really always eating, but like, you know, they rub up, or you drag it across their back and they go like this and they shoot off. You know, you feel that and you're like, oh, I missed a hit. You just dragged it over one and got them moving. So I know one spot, and I'm trying other spots within this pool, just to see, all right, where are the other places these fish are. And the best spots are the eat spots when they do wake up, when they do, you know, and usually it's the heads and tails. But I don't think it's an eat spot sort of day. I think it's the dead center, the stillest water sort of day. But even during those days, there are times where they move around more than others. So hopefully they get active here and eat this scented jerk shad. Alright, fan casted from this spot. I'm going to move down a little bit, and I'm really just advancing down towards where I caught that one, but it's just smart to pick apart the whole thing, because you never know when, you know, there's multiple spots that these fish are holding up in. You know, to be able to switch from one at the tail to one at the head and to one in the middle is good. All right, let's fan cast from here. On that last fan cast area, I found a pocket that every time I dragged through, it was kind of mucky and leafy, and that's totally not what you want, and that's a fish. That's interesting. Well, we got something going on here. It's a strong fish. Maybe it's a carp. Yeah, it's a carp. I got a carp. Carp likes the, yeah, you ate that. I didn't snag you. Let's check out this carp. Let's see if I can get him to let go of that for me. Can you please let go? I'll let you off, I promise. hole. I don't want my hand in there. You're pathetic. You know that? For me to bring you in that easy. Alright, I'm getting pliers on this thing. But yeah, carp for sure are a good marker for winter holes. You just like the way that stinky stuff I put on there smells. Get off of there. Goodbye. I don't even want to pick you up. Alright, well, scented jerk shad just got fish number 2. It's not the species I care for, though. Yeah, it's a fun pull. Alright, let's try that again. So, for a carp, the 2 have come in that easy. He's cold. Like, it's, you know, a carp that size. And, I mean, he was a good, I don't know. He's probably 34, 36 inches. Good sized carp. He shouldn't have come in that easy. And I think he's healthy. I just think it's really cold water. And they're lethargic and don't have a whole lot of fight in them this cold. That's another carp. Well, I don't really want the carp. Oh, good, you popped off. Good job, carp. He's bigger than the last one. He hit the the baby goat. The baby goats. Yeah, I didn't feel a bite. He just sort of loaded up. Yeah. It keeps going back and forth between freezing and not. I am knocking the ice out of the guides again. I think it's right on that edge. 31 to 33 degrees. Alright, it is definitely transitioned over to sleet. Maybe even a little bit of rain. Alright, I'm thinking about ending it. It really is not about comfort. Like, my feet, my hands are cold. My core body temperature, because of the action heat, jacket, and even the battery powdered powered socks help out. But with it changing to rain, I don't know, like it's the cold is getting to me a little bit more. The wind, there isn't a lot of wind, but there is a wind now. There was not wind before. And it isn't about comfort, it's about safety. And you know, I still have probably 3 hours of daylight that I could fish. I think I'm gonna start heading back because I got that climb up that sheet of ice at this ramp up here. I don't even call it a ramp. It's a little Jeep trail. It goes down to the river, little gravel, whatever. It's going to take me a minute to get up there, to do it really carefully. And as you get colder, your functionality declines. And when functionality declines, that's when you have accidents. I know I started the day with an accident, and I was plenty warm when I slipped down that little ravine, but it's just more likely that you have early hypothermia mishaps that can mess you up. And when you're on the water, it could kill you. I don't think I'll have any trouble getting off the water, but I want to take it easy getting up that hill, that big sheet of ice. So I think it's time. Let's pull anchors. Even though I got daylight, it's a fish. Time to go. Stepping very carefully down this sheet of ice. One nice thing about all this, I get to use the Rogue strap, and it's gonna pull up that hill pretty easy, I guess, with this snow, as long as I don't fall. No guarantees, but yeah, it was a good day. It was a winter spot. It was not one that I knew before going into it. It was one that I just sort of suspected would be a winter hole and wanted to fish. Come on, you. And when you know a winter hole, when you've fished it a bunch of times in winter, you know those spots within a spot. And I didn't really have that going in today, but still got 3 bites. I know 2 of them were carp, but one nice smallmouth, so I'm pleased. It was too long of a break in between fishing and filming, and I don't know. I appreciate you guys, those of you who watched to the end. I'll try not to have that sort of break again, but unemployment is, you have to prioritize conserving what funds you have. And believe it or not, YouTube is sort of like a digital sharecropping. You don't really make that much. I know some people do. Some people make it big, and I'm glad for those that can. But I didn't produce anything during that period of time because it wouldn't have paid for gas to get up here. So anyhow, good day on the water. Thanks for watching. See ya.